Hello friends, welcome back. Thank you very much for the support that you are rendering for the Azure IoT course as well. We are going to learn with respect to the Azure IoT in this session in a much better way. We have already learned the fundamentals. I have walked you through the Azure portal, and this session we are going to examine and explore the globally unique resource naming requirements which are with respect to the Azure, and we are going to also create an IoT hub using the Azure portal. We will examine the Azure IoT Hub services as well, and then we will go ahead with creating a device provisioning service, and then we will link it to IoT Hub. The second part of it, the device provisioning service part of it, will be handled in the next session. In this session, I am restricting it to the naming conventions as well as creation of the IoT Hub. Well, we are aware that there are naming conventions to be followed in any programming language or any tool. Azure is no different, and they recommend you to create your unique ID. And they suggest you to follow a simple pattern. You can use your initials in lowercase letters followed by your date of birth. For example, my initials are KVS. 29/7/1983 is my date of birth, so I can add it there. So 29/7/1983 is added there, and this is my resource name. I have created it this way. Now the most important point is you need to select the resource type, and the name template has to be followed. For example, you are going to use the IoT Hub. For an instance, you are creating an IoT Hub. How will you name it? IoT-AZ220, that's the name of the course, -training in the brackets KVS 29/7/1983 or whatever. Similarly, when you have the device provisioning services, they have suggested the naming conventions like this, which I am going to type right here. You can see that here DPS-AZ220-training, and your ID is nothing but this part where you have your initials followed by your date of birth. Sir, I have somebody who has already used my naming convention. They have already named the resource with my name, with my selection. You can add a 00 to it, or 01 or 02, something like that, and it is permitted. Well, please follow the naming conventions appropriately. It is very, very important, and I will give you the link from where you can read and clearly understand what are the suggestions that are given by Microsoft Azure itself. You can see that here they have made it very clear. They have given very clear set of guidelines and regulations, so I recommend you to go through it. I will give you this link in the description section so that you can follow it up very clearly and understand. Well, it is time for us to now go ahead and to learn the most important part of the session, which is nothing but creating an IoT Hub using the Azure portal. The Azure IoT Hub is complete in all aspects. It is fully managed service. It provides you reliable as well as secure bidirectional communications between the devices and Azure. I repeat it, this Azure IoT Hub is fully functional, and it provides you bidirectional communication. That's most important. You can establish bidirectional communication with any number of devices. The device to cloud communication or cloud to device communication options are plenty, and you can go ahead and use it. You can go ahead with one-way messaging, file transfer, request reply methods. All these are supported, and importantly, the communications would all be secured because they have got options for you to go ahead with per device security keys or X.509 certificates, and you have got excellent monitoring capacities. You can monitor the device connectivity, and you can also go ahead with multiple SDK device libraries which are available for most of the available platforms and languages. The support is available here in Azure. Well, what we are going to do now, we are going to create a very simple IoT Hub through the Azure portal, and it is very easy to do. Let me first go ahead and open the Internet Explorer, or to be very precise, Edge. We need to open it. I am opening it right now. So the moment you open it, you are supposed to type the portal.azure.com. I have explained you this in the previous session itself. The moment you go there, it will ask you for the username and password. So type it. I am using Microsoft Learn for all this learning purpose, and they provide you access, so you can learn through that. And if you have an authorized account also, you can go ahead with it. So I click yes and I go in. Now the moment I get in, the moment I type my username and password, I get into the landing page. And what we need is not the landing page right now. Instead, we are recommended to go to the dashboard. So this dashboard is the one that we are going to stay with for next few minutes, and this will help you in creating the resources. So please understand that we have got something called as all resources a tile here. This is called a tile. The all resources tile is available here. Whenever you are creating any resource, that will all be mapped to this particular tile, and you will be able to track it. Well, you've got something called as new options available here, refresh, full screen, edit. All these you can try it out whenever you have time. But what we are interested now currently is going ahead with creating resources. So I'm going to click create resource and it will take me to the next page, where you can see that we have got a search text box available, and in this text box we will be able to search for services or whatever is there in the marketplace. The marketplace is nothing but like the Play Store, where there are multiple apps and services available, so you can avail all of them. So I'm going to type IoT Hub here. So I can see that here I have typed IoT Hub and it will get me into the IoT Hub. There are multiple options available with the IoT Hub statement itself, IoT Hub phrase itself, so select the right one. So I'm going to go with this IoT Hub, and you can add it as your favorite if you want. And now see that we got multiple things to be understood here. The first one that you need to understand is the usage information and support. So I strongly recommend you to go through this. So you can see that we have got documentation, device management, service overview, pricing. Most importantly, how does Microsoft price it? It's all very transparent, and you've got pricing models available with you, and you can use it and learn more about Azure IoT Hub. All the links are very well handled. Contents are all really readable and understandable. So I recommend you strongly to go through it before even you go into the process of creating the IoT Hub. So that's the first thing that I want you to learn. And now what we are going to do, we are going to go ahead with the creation, and I click create. Is that end of it? No, this is the starting of it. So we are going to start it right now. You can see that we have got the subscription available here, and this subscription is by default given as Microsoft Learn hosting, and you've got a resource group available here with which you can map all your resources to. Now please understand, here the resource group is the one that is created for us. So we are going to group all the resources that we are going to use in this particular experiment or particular product or particular exercise, and all of them will be coming into it. So we always are definitely recommended to group all our resources properly. Well, it's time for us to go ahead and give the name for the IoT Hub. I have told you the naming conventions are very, very important, and I reiterate it here. Here we are going to give it right now as IoT-KVS- something like 290783. So make sure that you give it right. And the next one that you need to select is the region. So I'm going with West US 2 as suggested during the training. So I now gave that detail, and there is one more very important thing that we need to learn. When you go to management, you are going to understand about many other things which are very, very important with respect to this particular selection, and we are also going to learn about the pricing. If you see the pricing and the scale tier, there are options available here. Just click that. You will get to see there are S1, S2, S3, B1, B2, B3 and a free tier options are there. How do I select the one which I can really afford to? What is the best model that I can go ahead with? So Azure IoT Hub actually provides you several options, and multiple features are connected to each of this option. For example, the S1 tier that we have got in this lab exercise, in this learning exercise, is best model, which has got 400,000 messages allowed per unit per day, and it provides all the services that you need for all the IoT applications and building IoT products all around you with Azure. You may not really need 400,000 messages per day, but the features which are tremendously supporting you in this model are cloud to device commands, device management and IoT edges. There are multiple other tiering options available. It offers you free tier that is meant for testing and evaluation purpose. It has got the multiple features which are available with standard tier, but limited to the messaging allowances. You may not be able to send as many messages or receive as many messages as you do with S1, but you can do most of the other things with that model also. You need to note that you cannot upgrade from the free tier to either basic or standard model. The free tier allows you with 500 devices to be connected to the hub and up to 8,000 messages per day. So be brilliant enough when you select this option, and please understand the S1 tier comes with a cost of $25 per 25 USD per month per unit. So you are going to specify the number of units that you need for your application. Here I am specifying it clearly as 1. We may not need more than that for the training and the learning purpose. So this value determines how your IoT hub can scale. You can make it 2, you can make it 3, you can make it 4 as you want, but the costing increases parallelly. And what is the next one? The next one is Defender. The term Defender itself tells you very clearly, right? It is a unified security solution for IoT devices, and it prevents your device from getting attacks it actually identifies what are all the vulnerabilities, threats and all other things. So please make sure that you select it. You can also switch it off, but the moment you select it, you see that 0.001 USD per device per month is added as the costing. So when you disable it, it will go off. So when you enable it, this will be added. This is a very meager amount. This amount is very negligible, in fact, when you compare the cost of other things. So you can definitely include it. Now once you do that, you will get a summary of all the things. There is a review here. Pricing and scale tier options are available here. S1 is the one that we chose. 400,000 messages are allowed per day, 25 USD per month, 0.001 USD for the Defender. Other features which are very important to be mentioned: device to cloud, message routing, cloud to device, IoT edge, device management, all are enabled for this option. So remember it. Now what is the next one? We need to go with the advanced settings as well. You need to select the device to cloud partitions. By default, they suggest you to go ahead with 4. We may not need more than that. What is this and what is it all about? Yeah, I'll explain you that. The number of partitions relate to the device to cloud messages to the number of simultaneous readers of these messages. I repeat, the number of partitions actually relate the device to the cloud messages to the number of simultaneous readers of these messages. So maximum 4 partition would be needed, but you can increase it if you want. And the next one is transport layer security, TLS. We've got 2 options available, basic version 1.0 and 1.2. You can select the best one that you want. Now with that, almost we have come to the conclusion. We need to just click review and create. You will get the summary of all the details available here. Whatever you have selected for, whatever you have opted for, all these options will come here. Go through it carefully once, including the pricing detail, and then click create. The moment you click create, it will start initializing the deployment, and this particular IoT Hub as a resource will be created, and it will be mapped to the resource group whatever we have created in the beginning. The resource group will start getting this resource, this IoT Hub, into it. You can see that the deployment is in progress. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes for you to see this in the dashboard. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes. I have enabled auto refresh here, so you can enable it based on your requirement, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. But it may take some time for you to get the results to understand if this hub has been created. But you can see that in 2 to 3 minutes time frame. So you can click the dashboard and wait for it to be presented here, and you can access that. You can understand what are all the features that you can see through that. All those are very easy. I'll talk about it also in the next session. What is the next session going to be? The next session is going to be very important and interesting. We will clearly understand how exactly to examine the IoT Hub, as well as we are going to use the features of it. And then we will go ahead with creating a device provisioning service using the Azure portal. All these are very, very interesting and easy to do. You can keep refreshing it and it will be available for you in few minutes time frame. So try it out. In case you have any questions, you can always ask me. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Microsoft gives all this for free. So you can learn easily from the Microsoft Learn portal, as well as you can get your access. Try it out. In case you have questions, I'll be very happy to answer. Thank you.